Here with our friend David Hoffmeister. David is making the return appearance, and again, I just want to thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Eric. So always a joy to be with you.
Um, I'm glad you said that. Always a joy, because that is a characteristic that just emits from your presence joy. And the great prayer from the course that I'm here only to be truly helpful uh, seems to be your very presence, how you live your life.
Yeah, I think it's important. I remember when I was reading the course, there's a couple things that just jumped out at me. And one was the Holy Spirit is the spirit of joy, and the Holy Spirit needs happy learners to accept his joyous lessons. And I thought, well, that seems like a fast track to me. When I
It
read that,
does.
I said that sounds like it.
I always love that happy learners because the course doesn't want us to grit our teeth and shove our way through the messiness of life and hopefully way in the future or in next life or in heaven to achieve that joy. The course wants us to be joyful in the moment.
Yeah. I remember that. Even I was raised Christian, and I remember that line in the Bible. It was in the Old Testament. Make a joyful noise unto the Lord, and I was actually named after King David in the Bible.
Oh,
That's where
wow.
they gave me my name, and my sister's name was Mary Joe, are the parents of Jesus,
Huh.
and then my mother's name was Evelyn or Eve from the Bible, and then my father's name was John, who was one of the apostles. So I think it just felt like I've always related to the Psalms because that's songs, and I've always had a musical inspiration in my heart. Like there's a music playing all the time, and I feel like it's to inspire me to shine the light and to be the joy.
Um, Going back to that prayer of being truly helpful, uh, every time I reach out to any course student or teacher to come up, I get that same overwhelming, of course, yes, um, because it's such a, that joy is such a powerful message that is present in each moment, and you really just want people to share with you.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the way to truly collaborate because I think with planet Earth, we see these bodies, they seem to be separate bodies, lots of them, billions of them, 8.4 whatever billion, and then when Jesus says miracles are collaborative, then it kind of invites us into what does that really mean? Miracles are collaborative. And then I feel like the experience of joy is how we collaborate. When we're joyful, it's like we feel like we're dancing together. We feel like it's all brand new. We feel like we're innocent in that joy. And I think that reminds me of Jesus saying to teach us to demonstrate. So I've been talking to a lot of people lately just about direct experience and saying, well, the theology of a course, it can be helpful. There's a lot of Eastern paths. There's a lot of beautiful non-dual paths, and they have their theologies, and they're all helpful to an extent. And then, but I think all of them are like trampolines. They're just saying, trampoline your mind into the joy, and then you have the experience, and then that's what it's always been for anyway. Then the metaphysics and the theory and the theology, it just kind of fades away, like the light is so bright that you don't need the stepping stones anymore.
Beautiful. I've been thinking a lot about that practicality, um, because one of the things that I love about the course above all other paths is the practicality in our everyday life. That I absolutely love yoga and the path of yoga.
Yeah.
And I feel better when I practice all of the aspects of yoga. Um, but that realization, yoga, meaning to join, uh, does seem to be farther down the path. But one of the reasons why I changed my channel name to the subtitle of the Yoga of Forgiveness is because forgiveness gives me that realization right now that when I practice forgiveness, I am as awakened and as enlightened as I'm ever going to be.
Yeah. That's it. I think it's like when we focus on the present moment, that's where our attention really is needs to be, in the sense that that's where our release is. And we're not thinking, rehashing the past, or we don't have regrets coming up. We don't have grievances and the blocks. When we're right in the now, we're truly present, then that's our moment of freedom, our moment of happiness and joy and peace. And it's also good because we don't it's easy with the ego to get caught up into future imaginings, what's going to happen in the next 2 hours, or what's going to happen tomorrow. It's the planning aspect. And one thing that really struck me when I was reading lesson 135 in the workbook, which is the longest workbook lesson in the book, and he said, don't uh, activate the past, organize the present, or plan the future. And that was like a direct thing for me. That's like Jesus giving like three commandments very quickly. Don't activate the past, organize the present, or plan the future. And I think for many of us, we could say, wow, we really dedicated a lot of time to those three things, which
Right.
are now we see them as blocks. But before, they seemed to be practical, realistic, pragmatic. We were really buying into those before, but now it's like in the present moment, we have the freedom to let those go.
Um, it's funny when you say that because my first reaction is to write it down and say, I'm going to plan on doing that. Starting tomorrow, starting tomorrow morning, I'm going to put my plan into action.
Yeah, I know,
Um,
that's it. That's the
but
old way.